Now, so there's the Care Bears. So I'm not sure what watch you feel inspires to be like Care Bears.
Maybe Baby G.
Oh yeah, Baby G. That's a good one.
Baby G.
Yes.
I didn't realize Care Bears were violent, but this does appear to be quite violent.
I don't think
There's
this is.
definitely a punch
This
being
isn't
thrown
the
there.
old. This is the new, more aggressive. We fight against injustice. I don't know what they're doing.
Don't
This is
Care
the-
Bears.
Post-COVID covers.
And then don't care. I think we will deal with that. Our first import this morning, the 39%. We do a bit of clappage in the mornings now. We'll get started. So, welcome everybody. For those that don't understand what's about to happen, we used to do a clapping that only we would hear because we have to sync the sound. We don't have to do that anymore, but we like clapping, so we decided that we'd clap at something every time we record. So you may have come across this story. I will just so I'll show the Reddit version of it. Just checking it's safe.
Oh my goodness.
Before I display this, yes, Reddit. So Tim Cook gifts there we go. Oh, I guess UPGBs.
What is this?
Tim Cook gives Donald Trump a gift from Apple. I don't know if you saw this. This the most awkward thing you've ever seen. Where is it? It's disappeared. Oh, there we go. There's Tim Cook.
These guys are not buddies.
No, but he's giving a solid gold. Is Tim Cook unpacking an Apple box? Just the most awkward thing you've ever seen in your life. A little gold bar. Anyway, and this is all to convince Trump to get away from tariffing Apple. Give him some sort of exception. It's just the ultimate crawl. It actually just makes my skin crawl. But there we go. But
why does he close the box again?
Why is the gold thing just the base? Okay, how many presidents could you make out of that if you melted it down and tried to do something meaningful
Is that Swiss
with it?
gold?
Well, the Swiss have a lot of rules about gold, as Sylvan has pointed out. So hopefully it's not Swiss gold. It'll be far more expensive than Swiss gold.
You don't want to know
That means
what
it's
the
a more
gold is.
impressive gift, right? I spent 39% more on this gold than I need to, Mr. Trump.
Yeah. Anyway, our clapping for this week is other people have now gotten in the game. This man in particular, this is obviously an entirely genuine photograph, but Mike France from Christopher Ward has gifted Donald Trump a gold Christopher Ward watch. You can see how impressed he is. That is to try and get Christopher Ward into the country. Minus
So wait, is that fake picture? I'm
sans-
confused.
Sans tariff. What do you think? Do you think Mike France meant Donald Trump in jeans? Actually, he probably would do.
I just don't know why someone would do this. It's just so confusing. Why would someone generate this to be like, that's what I want to post?
This is the editorial control I have. Anyway. Right, so a clappage to Christopher Ward for their marketing to try and get into America sans tariff. And yes, of course, it's an AI generated picture. But clappage anyway. Well done. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Those stateside have to clap 39% more than we do here. Since you're importing the clappage from Scotland.
You know, we deserve all this. We deserve riff all you want. You know, we're dumb right now.
Yeah, apparently the live stream is accusing one of us of having past wind. If anybody wants to convince, I did not hear it in my headphones.
What?
That's just the American
crazy.
Political system you're hearing. That wasn't any of our anuses. They make very similar sounds.
Oh, that's a metaphor. I see.
Yeah, it seems. Yeah, well, we seem to be getting distracted already. This is good. Like this on 5 stars. So 38. Is it 39% tariff? Yeah. What do we think? What do you think difference it's going to make? Then we're going to stop
This
buying
reminds me.
watches.
Did you ever play the game SimCity?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you remember how like things would be going nice and the game's like, natural disaster. Here's a tornado and a fire.
Self-imposed natural disaster.
Godzilla. Things.
Roll the dice and stupid.
Yeah, that's what feels like it's going on right now with the watch industry. I don't know if we like needed this natural disaster, but it'll destroy some of our residential, commercial, industrial districts, and then maybe rebuild and put that stadium where we wanted it to be.
The industry needed this like a venomous snake bite in the crotch. This is the absolute last thing it needed. This is not good. It's a luxury item. It's not, trying to convince people to buy it is not about need. It's about want. And when people are needing a lot and have very little, it's not a good place for the watches, especially when you have to pay more for them to boot. But I don't. It's like being in fast moving water. We'll see what's true next week. This is just an evolving situation, and I don't think we've gone 2 weeks without some update to it. So we'll see what happens.
Here's the problem. We use the hobby as a distraction from what's going on in the world. Now what's going on in the world is like severely invading our hobby. We're like, what the hell? Like this nerdy little weird thing.
I have to choose?
Yeah, when we all started into this, like watches, at least in America, was about obscure and awesome things it could be. It was like one step above like being into, what someone compared it to? Adam Carolla. I don't know if you know who that is. One time he said, is that like being into cufflinks? And I was like, no, it's a lot more interesting than cufflinks. And I think he was trying to be funny, but I realized like he just didn't get it, and he was not wearing a wristwatch at the time. But yeah, I thought it was just going to be this funny little thing. Now, like all this nonsense, all these optics, like, do I need to get into even weirder watches to escape all this?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always weirder somewhere that isn't from Switzerland and probably isn't subject to 39% tariffs.
Let's not go crazy. Like, first of all, not all the watches are made in Switzerland. Even the ones made in Switzerland are also made in high tariff countries. But I also think that it's not correct to jump to conclusions about how much this will increase prices. The way the tariffs are applied are like beyond complicated. And none of us really know. Certain brands, like Christopher Ward, have apparently just increased their prices by 39%.
I'll show you the Christopher Ward situation just now while you're chatting. Well, actually, I can't because I'm not in America.
You can't.
See, look at the cheapness of the Christopher Ward. Cheapness.
Look, it makes it more exotic. It makes it like something you want to get while you're traveling or something like that. I think that's kind of the upside. Look, in America, we have not had these types of high prices before, but in a lot of other countries, they have. China and Brazil are good examples. And people from those countries who and Hungary, they've just known if you want to buy this stuff, you buy it somewhere else and you bring it back with you when you travel.
So for Christopher Ward, where it's largely a direct to consumer, do you just have this shipped to your hotel in London and then, fly it back, send it to Rick in Scotland and,
I don't know,
watches.
Drive across the border. There's a big Christopher Ward outlet in Toronto or something like that.
You can get your drugs and your Christopher Wards imported from Canada.
I just think that if watches are more exciting to buy, this is good for the hobby. Make it more difficult to get these things.
If it's more like importing drugs across the border,
people like stuff they can't get. Look at all the hype around the hype watches. So many more watches can become hype watches now.
I can't imagine it costs that much for me to have a P.O. box in like Tijuana. This might be something worth exploring.
But then you have to, go down to Tijuana.
There's not a bunch of penguins in the South Atlantic. They've also got a tariff. You get a low tariff, get a P.O. box there. I believe that tariff's not changed.
Where?
No, I think they have a tariff. Why do you have a tariff on the penguins at all?
No, but I think they reduced the tariff. I don't think they raised it in the next state, so I think the tariff is still 10% or something for the wee. The reality is that the UK is now one of the lowest tariff countries in the world, I think.
But you guys can't have a functional knife.
You also need a functional airport for people to come in on.
We have airports.
Heathrow is not an airport. It is just routinized congestion.
Have you been to Chicago here recently? This is fine. Any better. Charles de Gaulle. What is the worst? Come on, you're all well traveled.
I've not been defending Paris as airport.
Montreal is the worst. I've spent 26 hours. Paris has been fine. I've spent 26 hours locked in the Montreal airport. It's absolutely the worst.
That does sound awful.
In the chat, worst airports in the world to spend time in. David, worst airport in the world to spend time in?
I'm not allowed to say.
You're not allowed to say it.
It's in a country where if you have a bad opinion, and now this could mean Russia, this could mean the USA, this could mean other places in the world. So it's it's somewhere behind the newfound iron curtains of the world.
David means LaGuardia. That's exactly what he's talking about.
Right. The customs, and I said, did you say bad things about us in a podcast? Stay out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. So any sign, like anybody hearing any chat from any of the watch brands, anyone going to do anything dramatic like Tudor just not sell in America? Decide, let's not do this anymore until this is sorted out. Because Rolex could sell all of their watches and not sell any in America. They still sell everything they make. Maybe. Might need to sell a little bit of discount, but yeah, return to the good old days. Do you think there's any brands that we go? Deli gets a nomination in the airport hit list.
It's highly likely that if these tariffs persist longer than about 12 months, brands will just pull out of America. That is highly, highly likely. It's difficult to determine who, but it's happened in the past. It's happened in other countries. Brands don't have that big of a foothold here. It would just be ending sending watches here. Most of them don't have offices or anything like that. It would, even the big brands, they sometimes have like 3 people here, right? Like it's not that big of a deal for them just to leave shop. I think that if they feel consumers are buying their products in other countries, they might completely abandon the country. And they might even stop marketing. That's the worst thing. If they stop selling in America, that's one thing. But they shouldn't stop marketing because Americans are going to buy elsewhere. So as long as they continue to market, I think they'll be okay. Because, again, people are traveling a lot. And we've seen that these destinations to buy watches that you can only get there, that could be good for the hobby. That could be a good shtick for a brand. You know, you can only buy us in the city. That could be fun.
Well, that's kind of the allure of Certina in the U.S. They're so few and far between as far as U.S. Points of sale, but they make really cool watches. But they're in Swatch Corp. It seems like a brand that you would expect to see on the level of like a Tissot or something. Yet you don't, unless you're in an airport. And I think that's kind of the cool thing. Now that you're seeing more of them, but it's still usually among enthusiasts. But I think Ariel's right. There is a certain interestingness when it's something you can't get in the domestic market. Think of like cars, the obsession in the US with JDM cars. It's still very much alive today. And some of that has to do with the fact that the Japanese seem to keep the coolest versions for themselves. But a part of that allure is the simple fact like the R34 was just not in the US. So basically anyone who has one here had to get it imported. And that not only alludes to the coolness of the car, but also just the kind of social gatekeeping involved with it of it's just harder to get. You couldn't just go out and buy it.
A big impact in the Japanese. Grand Seiko sees the opportunity. Less tariff from there.
They preemptively raise prices. They're fine. They don't need to do a thing.
I don't think that the price issue is going to be big for Japan. Japan often takes a number of years to create a strategy, to deploy it, to figure things out. It's not exactly a place that is known for its agility in business decisions. I feel that the brands believe that the tariffs are short-lived. That may or may not be true. I think that there's an argument to be made that they are probably going to be short-lived. We don't know if a subsequent administration is going to like this. It's very unclear. So I think that there's going to be a wait and hold pattern for a lot of companies that are traditionally a little bit more conservative in their approach or take time to develop things. I think this is a moving target, and I think that's a problem. These companies don't like making decisions when the market is not stable.
A Swiss brand that's going to be the first one to not pull out of America. Any guesses? Zenith. Don't make that many watches anyway. Panerai. It's all the same watch. You can just keep importing the same one over and over again.
I think they'll still have... I mean, look, I've visited countries that have high, VATs, for example. And it's known that, like, not a lot of people buy the watches there, but there's still stores and stuff like that. I think a lot of it is showrooming, branding. I don't think that it's too terribly difficult to bring in product and just have it sit in stores and they feel like, well, maybe those people will go buy in the store in Paris when they're traveling or something like that. So there's an argument to be made there. What we have to determine is the micro brands. And it's quite complicated. Again, a lot of them use Chinese parts that have a near Switzerland tariff right now. Many of them have very low margins. And, they do it because it's supposed to be sort of a fun hobby job. If it becomes impossible to produce at a competitive price, then they'll have to go, because it's not like they're investing in marketing. Really what they got is sort of a fun watch at a good price. If that's not their value proposition anymore, they're not going to offer the consumer anything.
It will be interesting to see how quickly it plays out. Do you think there's any possibility that this actually is more like that this helps some brands that are actually struggling? Or is it only just going to make more money for those brands that can sell all of their inventory no matter how much they put into the States? E.g. Rolex, Patek, presumably AP. Is it genuinely going to make any brands, you think, more desirable because the price is suddenly going to go up? Or the price is going to go up, although it's badged as Swiss made, not quite as proportionately perhaps as it should, because it's not maybe quite as Swiss made as everybody thinks it is. But Joe Schmo, Jane Schmo in the street won't recognise that. They'll just suddenly see this watch seems, right, maybe we'll get up 10% rather than, this is wholesale prices, rather than 39%.
Well, what I think is funny is also asking, will Swiss brands say, should we be assembled elsewhere? Like, will Swiss brands still have, monetary interest in Switzerland, but then go be, I don't know, a French brand or a German brand or an English brand because there's lower tariffs? If it goes on long enough and there's a detriment to being a Swiss-made watch from a price perspective, I wonder how many will simply stop being Swiss-made.
I mean, Moser haven't put Swiss-made on their watches for a while, I don't think. So do they suddenly go, well, actually, we don't need to do this anymore. So just
I don't think they have anything on their dial.
That's true. Our markers would be a start. Effectively, this is the USA bringing in, I mean, to most other countries in the world, the idea that you have a value-added tax on things is not a shocker. And that's effectively what this is. The only issue is you can't claim it back when you leave the country. Do you think that it would be advantageous? Because I don't know how many watches are bought in the States by foreign tourists coming to the States to buy the watches. Certainly when I've been in the States, if I wanted to, then some of the watches that were available at the time would have been cheaper than buying them back home, especially if you can stick them in your hand luggage and possibly not necessarily declare them when you went back in the country. Not that I ever did that, because I only own one watch. It's panoramic second hand. But you can't do that if it's a duty. You can't get it back. So how are you aware of just what the volume of watches sold to foreign tourists is in the States?
I don't know. And again, I think that's one of the primary differences between something like a VAT and a tariff. A VAT is applied at the time of sale. And as you said, it's supposed to apply to people who live there and can be reimbursed. A tariff is applied when the good comes into the country. So it really doesn't matter what happens to it afterwards. It's really about where you bought it, which matters. And I think that's also important for people that are planning on buying watches in other countries and bringing them back to the United States. I could be wrong about how it's all applied, but my understanding is, nobody's going to care when you're bringing stuff in. Whereas if you had to go back to a VAT country, I know China, for example, was big on this. They want you to declare it. They want you to pay taxes on it, even if you purchase it elsewhere. I know that I remember we reported that China had this 5-time multiplier punishment if you failed to disclose something. So for a watch, that could be enormously expensive. I haven't heard any type of chatter at all about people who purchase luxury goods outside of America coming back in, having to declare, having to pay anything like that. That's probably somewhat of a silver lining. In our recent survey of the aBlogtoWatch audience, the vast majority of people, even those living in the United States, travel on a regular basis. So it statistically speaking, people who like watches tend to be more well-traveled and will have at least one opportunity every year or every several years to leave their country, if it's here in the United States, go to someplace else and purchase a watch, at a potentially lower price. And I think what's also important is to ask, where will those havens be? It's so funny because America has been a target for people trying to come here to shop for lower prices. Now Americans will have to leave America. Where will those destinations be? I think that's a very interesting question. What tourist destinations or shopping destinations say, we want to be set up for people that, want to buy things here that would cost a lot more in the United States. Hong Kong is a great example, probably a bit far for most Americans. Probably
Glasgow, baby.
Hey, maybe it'll be Canada, parts of Mexico, the Caribbean again. I mean, these are all, destinations that are nearby. It'll be interesting to see how the watch world adapts around this, because that's really what it's going to be, an adaptation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, David has disappeared. He's rebooting his machine, so he will be back joining us in a second.
You heard that? He made that statement about Hungary, and boom, he's gone.
That's right. He was about to nominate the airport he hated the most.
So prescient.
All went wrong. Right, here's our first article. Wait a minute, I've discovered the worst kind of collector. This is Mike's Wait a Minute rant this week. This is basically about boring watch collections. So, in the too long didn't read, I would like us to be starting to think about what is the most generic 5-watch collection you can think of. So you can start thinking about that while you give us your thoughts on this article, Ripley.
Royal Oak Jumbo, Patek Philippe Nautilus, Rolex Submariner, Rolex Daytona, and Omega Speedmaster, all in stainless steel.
All in stainless steel. So go for that again. A Royal Oak.
Royal Oak. Jumbo Royal Oak, standard time and date Nautilus, both steel Submariner date, Speedmaster Moonwatch, steel, black dial, and oh God, what was the other one I said? It's so forgettable. We could swap anyone out with this one. And keep in mind, I own multiple of these watches, so I've got a black sub, I've got a Speedmaster, but.
So are you one of the worst kind of watch collectors?
I wouldn't consider myself a collector, and I didn't pay what these watches are worth. I've collected them over the course of years and bought them all very cheaply. I mean, I think what Mike's getting at is that there's nothing wrong with these watches themselves. They're objectively great. That's why they're considered like go-to options, icons, safe choices, whatever. But I think what he's getting at in this article is that it's not that these watches are themselves the problem, but it's when people just make the uninformed choice of get these watches because Instagram or social media is telling you to check these boxes. You're not a real collector unless you own a Submariner. It's the blueprint of the modern dive watch, and you just fall victim to that rather than exploring your own tastes. I have a sub, I have a Speedmaster. I don't wear either of them much because I wear other things that I find more interesting. I have them, I like them. I haven't gotten rid of them because they are pretty timeless. At some point, I do pull them out and wear them and enjoy them, but they're not the things I'm necessarily hunting or looking for, and they're certainly not the things that necessarily get me excited unless there's some big technological evolution like when the 3861 movement was introduced to the Speedmaster. It looks the same as the old Speedmaster, but that's worth talking about from a technology perspective.
Daytona was your other choice. Ariel.
Daytona,
but
right.
You've got the Cartier Santos. So do you swap the Santos in for an Ariel 5 most generic watches? The world's worst 5-watch collection?
Well, I have a few things to say. First of all, I want to say that when you go to this article written by Mike, the comment section is actually several times longer than the article itself. There's, I think, about 90 comments now. I participate there a lot. Yeah, we get quite deep into the psychology of collecting, the business model of watch media. I would actually recommend that in addition to Mike's, again, not super long essay, there's a very robust and in-depth conversation that'll probably be at least 150 comments before it's all over. So go check that out. And when you asked about boring watch collection, you know what came to mind? Like the person who has like an Apple Watch and a Rolex and just swaps them out. That for me is boring. Very decent things, but it's like almost like a waste. It's like, I don't know. It's just no personality right there. It's like pure. it's generic. It's like I got my generic smartwatch, I got my generic luxury watch. I'm happy. Like I have no personality.
So Apple Watch and Panerai is okay.
To save your ego, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You distinctive man, you.
Dear. But what watch has Ripley missed out in the generic list, Ariel? We've got Jumbo Royal Oak, Nautilus, Subdate, Moonwatch, and Daytona.
I'm a little bit upset at the person who I don't know the right word to say. Maybe is too scared to go beyond Seiko. We all love Seiko, but there's that guy out there who's like afraid to go past it and just like continues to just wear Seiko. And it's like, they're great watches, but branch out a little bit. So if you're just wearing like, I don't know, what is it, the boring one? The Alpinist? Oh God, that's the boring one.
What do you mean the Alpinist is awesome? That is way more personality than the 62 Moss.
Well, that's true. But there's a long list of boring ones. There's some awesome Seiko. Again, I love Seiko, but you guys know my taste. I like the like super insane weird stuff they've done. And I adore that stuff. I really, really do. But Seiko also is guilty of making some incredibly mainstream watches. Not guilty, but like, it's like the watch collector who busts out with like his Timex Iron Man is like, this is really worthy of collecting. Like, no, it's not. Like, as much as I appreciate the Iron Man for all that it's done, it is not something you should choose to wear if you have other options.
Okay, so your own watch collections in mind. Give me the 5 most outlandish watches. If you had to keep the 5 watches that were just the least run-of-the-mill, what would be in that collection of your own vast collection of watches?
You can't ask Ariel that. You're going to end up with things. Nixie tubes, 10,000 meters of water resistance, hinges in places you don't understand. It's going to be a whole plethora.
I could choose 5 Russian-made watches that would blow your mind, okay? Weird stuff.
That's the article we want.
Oh, it's personal, you know?
5 Russian watches to blow your mind.
There's just, I mean, again, too bad about other things, but Russia's watch culture has always utterly delighted me in so many ways. I love their watch collectors. I love the watches they make, even in the periphery. The stuff that comes from Ukraine, even there's Ukrainian watchmakers, incredible stuff out there. What was the question? The opposite of boring watches? I don't even remember.
Yeah, so you've got to rescue your 5 most outlandish watches, the 5 least generic watches in your collection. What 5 watches are you rescuing? Right, give me the opposite article to the one that Mike has written on this is the most eclectic collection you've ever seen.
Look, I like people who have spent years looking at a large number of watches and are generally aware of the category and knows what's out there. And then based upon that finds highly individual things with the emphasis of you probably haven't seen one of these or no one else is going to wear one of these. I think the less often I see a watch, the happier it makes me. And when someone chooses a watch that is uncommon, what that says to me is they chose something that really matches their personality or gives them a very distinct feeling that they like. And that's what I want to see. I want to see people choosing the uncommon stuff because I think common is what I'm trying to stay away from in my interest in timepieces.
Okay. David, welcome back to the show from your Hungarian internet outage.
It actually was my computer, but thank you.
Right, okay. 5 most generic watches that would make up the most generic watch collection.
Okay. Submariner, some sort of G-Shock.
G-Shock, interesting.
A dressy Longines, something. I have to say 2 more. Something from Christopher
overly
Ward.
Thick dressy Longines.
Yes. And maybe a Black Bay from Tudor. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Or something from Seiko, I should have said, because we already put in a Submariner. So let's replace that with an SKX or something from Seiko.
Yeah. I think Tudor has to get a mention in this as being just feels increasingly generic as a watch brand. I don't know if it's just, I don't know.
But they have a section on their website called Daring Watches.
And
maybe
they're blue.
Maybe that's the sign that when you're saying you're daring, that's exactly the time when you've just lost all sense of
Rick,
adventure.
they were born to dare. Remember the slogan? They were born to dare. Yes.
Actually do it. So they were born with a daring silver spoon in their mouth, but never attained the heights of daringness.
Other brands merely adopted the daring. They were born into it, molded by it, shaped by it.
Most watches are assembled. Theirs are hatched from an egg or something? Is that where tutors come from?
Yes, exactly.
I see.
A 1950s aquatic egg, apparently. That's what all of them are born from.
What about engineered to dare? Get all really confusing.
Daring engineering.
I dare you if the math works.
Yeah. So should Breitling hasn't got a mention? Is a Navitimer the ultimate in not generic?
Not really.
I feel like I've never phoned a plane.
No, it's seen everywhere, but when you see someone with a Navitimer, it's a little bit more of a personal choice. They clearly looked at like a Daytona, a Speedmaster, and said, not enough hands and numbers. I want like 10 times this many. Yes, that's perfect. What does this do? And the guy starts explaining a slide rule. He says, no, stop right there. I'll just take it. And like it says something more about the person, and I respect that. I never look at a Navitimer owner and think that the guy doesn't like his watch, whereas half of the Submariner owners out there, and I say this as a Submariner owner, don't know that their watch is called a Submariner, and that's wild to me since it says the name on the dial.
What? Bored to dare is the new slogan being suggested for Twitter.
I like that.
I like this. I think Chives and ChatGPT is going to be asked to produce an advert for that one while we speak.
Do you want to rename the Black Bay the Boring Bay?
The Boring Bay, bored Bay. Any other very generic watch brands that we should feature on this list? No.
I mean, there's just so many.
On the 1942 typewriter, Rick. It's so clickety and loud. It's insane.
I do have a very loud keyboard. I feel like lends a sort of authenticity to the show. In the background, there are folk typing away. You know, there's some editorial control in this. It's not just made up and go along.
We are adding a show to your typewriting.
You advertise using AI all the time.
That's right. There is some manual intervention in this show time to time.
I do personally talk to AI. There is input.
That's right. And now, maybe we should be just letting AI into Riverside, a recording app, and just let it join the chat. I don't know if we can do that. Let's
like we could.
I can hallucinate for you if you want. We don't need AI for that.
I have been very upset with ChatGPT lately, and I yell at it. And now, now its personality has changed with the new ChatGPT 5. It's not as polite anymore. It's very snarky.
You need to go and download Chives the Watch Butler GPT. Go to ChatGPT and search for Chives the Watch Butler. And you can.
You'll have to show me how to do this, Rick. I'm not familiar with this.
I'm not actually sure how to do it, but I believe it can be done.
You literally just told me.
Just because I believe a thing doesn't mean I know how to do it.
You go to this website and you do something.
You go to ChatGPT. Right, let's pick up on some of last week's show. Ariel, you gave us our what you like categories last week, which was cartoon characters.
Oh boy!
So this week, first up, we have the Care Bears. Let's go to carebearhub.com to see,
what was I thinking?
To see Care Bears. So what were you thinking? Now, so there's the Care Bears. So I'm not sure what watch you feel inspires to be like Care Bears. I'm open to suggestions. I have a suggestion, but I'm open to your suggestions.
Okay, I got one. I got those colorful Norcane wild ones.
Okay, yeah, like that. That.
Hublot ceramics. They're every color of the rainbow, and they kind of look tough, but clearly not. Like that yellow one's throwing a punch, but no one's threatened by it.
Maybe Baby G.
Oh yeah, Baby G. That's a good one.
Baby G.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I didn't realize Care Bears were violent, but this does appear to be quite violent.
I don't think this is
a punch
this
being
isn't
thrown
the
there.
old. This is the new, more aggressive. We fight against injustice. I don't know what they're doing.
Don't Care Bears.
Post-COVID covers.
And then don't care first. Flat being suggested. I wondered about this particular watch as being a Care Bear watch, because which was the $1 million Richard Mille. I thought this was quite a Care Bearing watch.
Not cuddly enough. Not cuddly enough.
I think it reflects the new aggressive stance of the Care
Have you
Bears.
ever seen Care Bears?
What about the Bonbon collection from RM, where it was like the sweets and pastels?
No, that's Candyland.
Oh, definitely Candyland.
Candyland? What's Candyland?
It was a game, a very creepy game.
Yeah.
If you win, you get diabetes.
Oh my goodness.
There you go. Flick Flack or Baby G also being suggested. So where are we settling on? I like the Hublot ceramic that clearly would break as soon as it's actually soft. Are there any watches that are actually tactile, like a teddy bear?
Furry? Yeah, 7 Friday
Furry
has
watch.
a 3D printed one, and I don't know what kind of material it is, but it's kind of fuzzy. It's a weird
fuzzy watch.
There have been mink straps, and I encourage everyone to look at the pillow, which comes with every Seiko Galante watch.
Seiko Galante watch?
No, the Seiko Galante pillow.
Right,
is it also made out of mink?
It looks that way.
Yeah, if you want to send me a link, we'll display it while we move on.
You're going to have to just Google that. I've seen pictures like on eBay.
If I Google it, David will complain because it will make this kind of noise as I do it.
What are those Cherry MX Brown keys?
But then I can't talk over it at the same time. Breitling Endurance Pro as a Care Bear watch. Did they have something
They're
like
not sporty enough for that. They're sporty. Come on.
Right, okay. Right, so next... where are we?
What other nonsense did I say?
You said Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
So let's get, if you can, Inspector Gadget. Yes, I am typing, deal with the disappointment. So Inspector Gadget, this is him here. Let's go to the IMDb. Inspector Gadget's got an IMDb page.
Of course.
Who knew? Inspector Gadget TV series 1983 to 2023.
Guess it's come back.
Is it back? Is it? So most gadgety watches. I assume that's what we're going for.
There's other ways.
Watch.
Well, there's other ways to interpret it, I think. Inspector Gadget was a human who something happened to him, and he got a lot of his human parts replaced with robot parts and became a human equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. So you could interpret this as like, a mechanical watch that had some of its components gutted out and turned with quartz. This could be a spring drive, a kinetic, that Resonance E-crown thing. There's the ways to interpret that in that spirit. Or this literal Swiss Army knife of a watch, which is that like Richard Mille adventure thing with the water purification tablets.
Or the actual knives from Swiss Army.
RM25.
Or I'm sorry, actual watches from Swiss Army.
The knife-themed watch they make with the...
You remember they had the one with the lights in it and stuff like that? You know what I'm seeing?
Light.
Visually, I'm seeing the MB&F HM5.
Okay. Well, I went to the original
drivers. Oh, yes, the beauty. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the Time Hunter. I could see the Urwerk Time Hunter being one as well, where it's
an Urwerk.
Yeah, the Time Hunter specifically, where it's a mechanical watch, but it's got its own time grapher built in it, so it's this hybrid cyborg thing that is super technical, but very modern.
You remember their like horizontally long watch? I forgot what it's called. The one that was inspired by like the Volvo dashboard.
Yeah,
an early one, or the HYT when they made that horizontal watch as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which I've never seen in the real world.
I like the idea of this from Chrono 30 or whatever we're calling it today.
Double-matic. So he's classy now to you.
Inspector
You saw the
watch.
top hat. You got the wrong idea, Rick.
I would if I could find a decent one of these that was reliable, I might wear this instead of my Panerai.
That is a cool watch. I remember when this came out, and I think we should all cheer for Rick to have something other than just a Panerai.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think maybe when I finish building my house and I get the VAT that money back from building it. I think maybe we should put a sum aside and let the audience vote. What would happen? Like last time in the UK, when you let the audience vote on things, it always ends up coming back as Boaty McBoatface. I don't know if you're aware of that story, or things of a similar nature. I'm not sure what would happen if I put £10,000 on the table and said, "Dear audience, you choose what I'm buying."
Solid gold
U-boat.
That is
Boaty McBoatwatch. Did you say a solid gold U-boat?
Yep.
Yeah,
what if it's the exact same watch? So like they vote on the exact same model Panerai, and then you just have two of them.
That's like just have two of them. 2 8-day GMT Panerais. Right, which one will I wear today?
What would be the worst for Scottish weather? Like a vintage minute repeater that's not even water resistant?
Like,
Yeah, something that
Panerai,
so poorly, so badly built, just wind blows through it. You know, no gaskets, nothing.
Are there any watches other than watches that are used for the blind? Are there any watches that actually don't have a crystal or something?
Yes.
On front of them, deliberately?
Yeah, there are a few.
So something like that probably wouldn't last very long.
So wait a minute, you don't have enough opinions about what watch you'd want to buy. You need to outsource that to the community.
I have plenty of opinions. But that's the problem. I have too many opinions.
He likes the Panerai Luminor 8 days. He likes the Panerai Luminor Duet. He likes the Panerai Luminor Marina.
5 days.
Yeah, Panerai Luminor Equation of Time.
Do you maybe a different color dial?
Equation of Time. I get an Equation of Time. Just for the most pointless complication.
It is.
Just, I would just pointless. Know. I'd look at the watch and just go, I know what the real time is. It's just, the Equation of Time is a beast. I think it's a 46mm watch, the Equation of Time. So it is a bit of a chunker.
You like that? You like that on the watch, don't you?
Chunk.
It's been suggested that a PRX, but from the States with the tariffs added on, would probably be all I could afford.
I don't know if that's your style. Is that your style? You're more like a strap guy. You like straps.
Yeah, well, I think I've decided that the thing I bizarrely like is maybe it's just because I'm slow of brain or got bad memory. I like the fact that the Panerai tells you it's a Panerai on the side of the strap. So I think maybe that would need to be the theme. So you can get a Breitling that says Breitling on the side, and I mean,
I can write the name of the brand with a Sharpie on pretty much any strap you want. If that's an issue.
We can write other brands.
Yeah.
All the brands.
Maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that is the way to do it. Like the Moser tribute watch. A co-op is just, you know how when you break your arm and you get the cast and then people sign your cast?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the future of strap manufacture. That's what I need.
You want me to draw like a little Panerai on your cast?
Well, the Panerai's got a big strap, so I could probably just keep the Panerai and just get all the other brands put on it. And that would be cheaper as well.
Yeah.
So this went from what other watch do you want to? I don't need to get rid of my Panerai, do I?
Yeah, what if you sold sponsorship space on your strap, like an F1 car? The different parts of the strap could have different values associated with it. So you could have a Moser logo near the lugs, then maybe a tag logo on the other side. Start a bidding war about who gets the 12 o'clock versus the 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I love that idea. Do you remember the website? I think it was called Million Pixel, whereby on a screen they put 1,000,000 pixels and then sold off the individual pixels for $1, and the guy made $1 million. I'll Google it as quietly as I can in the background to see if it still exists.
The innocent days of the internet.
Well, that's exactly right. It was the innocent days. There we go. $1 million homepage. Let's see if it still exists. It does. There we go.
Great real estate investment, huh?
Yeah, there we go. The $1 million homepage. He sold each one of the pixels.
So people bought multiple pixels. They didn't buy individual.
Yes.
I see.
Well, I mean, you could buy an individual pixel. I'm not going to click on any of these links because I have no idea what horribleness.
Yeah, how much of it is porn?
99% of it, probably.
which is probably not disproportionate to the to the internet. It's probably the same proportion. But there we go, the $1 million. So I don't think we do that for my Panerai watch strap. I'm up for that.
In 1862, Franz Ludwig Loebner began his career making precision timekeepers in what would become Germany. Settling in Berlin, he received an official clockmaker's mandate from the king and quickly gravitated towards the then pioneering technology of creating precise instruments to measure short durations of time. In 1881, Loebner was already an exclusive mark thanks to their ability to mass-produce chronographs able to measure 1/100th of a second. Just a few years later, they developed a clock able to measure 1/1000th of a second for sports and scientific purposes. Loebner continued to be a recognized German leader in precise and reliable high-accuracy timekeeping into the 20th century. They were among the first to use highly precise electric switches to trigger their mechanical measuring devices in order to overcome the limitations of human response time. Loebner has now been revived for a modern era. The company continues its long legacy of creating precise and beautiful timing equipment for today's demanding users. The Loebner Steel Racer features a novel chronograph-focused dial with an eccentric reading of the time and a sliding crown guard system. The time-only Loebner Sledge model features a smaller 100-meter water-resistant case and a new inner rotating timing bezel system. Learn more about the history of precision timekeeping instruments and the new Loebner wristwatch collection at lbnr.com.
Much for that. Right. And then our final, done quite well. Our final was, we had Care Bears, Inspector Gadget. Oh, Shaun the Sheep. Shaun the Sheep.
I'm not familiar with this one. I thought this was a Scottish thing when I heard sheep.
It's British.
Close. Nick Park, same guy that did Wallace and Gromit. You remember Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah. I didn't know the sheep had a spin-off.
Oh, Shaun the Sheep has had multiple spin-offs. I know about this because of my children. It's, I think, made him a lot more money than Wallace and Gromit, to be honest. I think, I don't know. I have to think of claymation watches.
Well, I was thinking it was more of a sheep watch. So like a Submariner no date is like just, bear in mind the previous conversation.
I was thinking more like farm resistant, like your world.
Land dweller.
Panerai, then.
Oh god, it all goes back to Panerai, doesn't it?
Goes back. It's just, the meme, I'm going to get my face put on that meme, where he's all connected. It's just going to be a big Panerai logo in the background.
Do you guys remember the Hublot Big Bang Alps? Google it.
Oh yeah.
Google it.
Oh yeah.
Hublot Big, let me go to the brand. Did we cover it?
I feel, you remember that Blanc Pan that looks like the Swatch version but isn't? I don't know why I feel like that fits here somewhere in this cartoony world.
Oh, right.
That's a very cartoony watch.
You mean the Moon Swatch version of the Blanc Pan?
No, it's actually a Blanc Pan that looks like a Swatch.
Oh,
so
okay.
Blanc Pan price.
It's the wrong way around.
Hublot Alp. Let me see if we've covered it in the past.
I'm sure we did.
I'm just trying to see.
think
May have.
Big Bang, Aspen. I can't see it very obvious on the website. If one of you gentlemen is able to find it, then that would be grand. So what do we think for the most sheepish watch? Is that sheepish farm watch? An outdoor watch? A woolly watch? Doesn't know what it is. It's a bit
Why are
woolly.
there no shearling watch straps? This seems like an untapped market.
Well, you
can just Google Hublot Big Bang Alps, Rick, even if we did not cover it. Just Google it.
To make your wrist
People
very
have to
warm.
see this stuff.
Big Bang Alps.
This is definitely a new keyboard.
Come on. Yes. It's a bun strap.
I love how Hublot has been brought up all the time. It's a very diverse brand.
This is a Hublot and Panerai show. We've decided this is from Europa Star. Hublot Big Bang. I'm in love.
Why was this rent-free living in my mind? I don't know.
Sheepskin.
It's the final boss. That bund is insane.
This is the boss watch.
I wore this watch. I don't know what happened. We took pictures of it. I specifically remember this being on my wrist at some point.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, maybe you took a picture of it were writing up the article, and then the internet just crashed. Like the WordPress site just decided, no, we're not letting you publish this. This is.
I was supposed to write this up, but then I threw up in my keyboard, and then I had to get a new computer. And by the time I got back with my new computer, I stopped writing about it.
It does look like a fast-growing mold is growing under your wrist there a little bit.
It does look like a very fast-growing mold. That's exactly what it is.
It's the fact that there's two varieties. This is a 45mm for men and a 39 for women. In fact, they made two different varieties of this watch. I love it though. This is seeing the list of watches that nobody else owns, the non-generic watch. This is the boss.
Imagine going through, being at home as a child, going through the drawers looking for something, and you find out that your parents own one of these. What that should comprehensively rewrite the concept that you have of your parents when you find this in a drawer. Like, what were they thinking when they bought this? What is this? And then you realize it's expensive too.
I think these
expensive.
shearling boon straps need to make a comeback, okay?
I love this. I love this.
Maybe.
If somebody would like to make, if there's anybody out there listening would like to make, actually, the chances are I know someone that can make one of these. I don't want to pull the sheer sheep, but yeah, if somebody would like make one of these for my Panerai, then I'd wear this.
You'll have to kill
woolly
two
bun
sheep
strap.
to make it for a Panerai. That's going to be an absolutely massive strap.
You don't actually need to kill the sheep to get the wool off them. Just
I think these ones
here.
But are these like connected? Like, is this the actual skin there? How's that work?
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious as to what the strap is made of. Whether it is a sheep's skin. I'm not sure how a sheep. I suppose you use it for jackets. I'm just not sure it would do very well. They've obviously had to reinforce the holes with rubber. I'm not sure how well it'll work as sheep's skin.
We're more excited if the animal died for it.
Yeah, it's more costly.
Yeah, it's not a Panerai strap if some living creature didn't meet its demise in order to make it.
There we go. So there's our collection. So whose turn is it? Who would like to select? I feel we need to return to Hungary somehow. So David, give us 3 random, maybe, I don't know, extinct car brands or obscure European sports.
Traditional
like sports
Hungarian food dishes.
Yeah, stuff that local customs. Something we can be looking up. I think we should learn more about David's home country.
David looks so amused right now.
Airports and watches that match airport vibes.
Oh gosh,
That's good. That's okay. We're getting somewhere.
Right.
I also sent you a link on the studio chat as I was looking for the aBlogtoWatch, and I found something very different entirely.
Find something else, right? Okay, I was trying to find that. I can't see both the studio chat and Chrono 24. Oh dear. Oh my word! Oh my word!
That's a surprise. That's an incredible value proposition right there for a gem set Hublot. If you're interested.
Before I show this person, we don't think they're a war criminal, or do we know who this person is?
I don't.
We'll show it. If anyone can identify this individual, it's just in case he's a war criminal.
It says it in the description. It's Mr. Bongo.
Yeah,
Mr. Bongo.
Mr. Bongo.
President Ali Bongo.
President Ali Bongo. Is that a real
President
thing?
of Gabon. And they made 70 pieces.
According to Chrono 25, it is.
Look how pixelated. It's basically just like...
Who is this watch meant for? And how much of it is aftermarket?
It looks like a lady's watch. Meant for.
I hope that's not in a lady's arm. That's all I'm saying.
I've never seen that bezel before.
That looks like Ariel. That looks like your arm. Are you sure you've not the owner of this watch?
You think that's my arm?
That's a hair-clad arm if ever there was one. Is that not you?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you noticing.
Yeah, go check out the live images on aBlogtoWatch Weekly Live for the Ali. Is that what it is? The Ali Bongo watch?
Yes.
It's the bust of Bongo. You want the bust of Bongo and a mother of pearl face with diamonds in probably lady size.
$6,000.
It's mother of pearl too. It's a mother of pearl dial with a pixelated like cell phone flip phone camera shot image printed on it. It's kind of breathtaking when you just take it all in at once. It's amazing. Oh, yes. Quartz, diamond, mother of pearl, Hublot, Ali Bongo portrait on the dial.
I
All
want
of
to know
these
who
are
collects
trigger
these.
words.
I want to know who's like, oh my God, I need this.
There's some collector, there's the Rolex collectors who, collect like the Conchar dials and whatnot. There's definitely a Hublot
But
collector
I don't even
who's got
think
like all
Hublot
of these.
made it.
I would not be surprised if they did.
You could be right, but this looks, I mean, this is like potentially, is this pre-Biver, right? This is way before that.
Yeah,
I
This is
don't
like,
know if this was the first watch he did.
yeah.
No,
Maybe that was
no.
it.
It was a small payment under the table in exchange for this watch from Mr. Bongo that set the foundation for Hublot's finances. There's probably some myth associated with this. But look at the placement of everything. This
the
would be
Bongo Bang.
I mean, this would be a very weird Hublot dial. The Bongo Bang.
Big Bongo.
That's what we want back.
Bring back the Bongo Bang.
Go into your catalogue, Hublot, and bring back the Bongo
Big
Bang.
Bongo.
You like to celebrate heritage, right?
Exactly. Hublot hasn't got any, but we've discovered it's got this. Oh,
This is it,
That's
yes.
horrible.
Oh, the craftsmanship.
This is
Wow.
craftsmanship.
At first I thought it was a Roy Lichtenstein, but then
Art.
Look at that happy face. My face is on a Hublot watch. Yay.
He's happy about it. He is happy about it.
my face is on the face. Great, right?
But how does this happen? This is being sold by a dealer. So at some point, somebody went into a dealer and sold them this in exchange for buying something else. Because there's no way a dealer saw this coming in and just thought, yeah, I'll buy that. How much do you think the dealer paid for it if he's selling it for $6,500?
Nothing. This watch was obviously
Probably
pawned.
nothing.
Somebody was forced to wear this watch. They were excited to pawn it, and then some dealer was like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
I've actually Googled. Let's just Google President Ali Bongo, just in case he did turn out to be a dictator
own
and
risk.
a war criminal. Oh yes, there we go. Oh, do you want to see what he actually looks like? Okay, this is
Does he have
President
diamonds
Ali
around his face?
Bongo. No, that's him there. In 2022,
But that's a more recent
looking
picture. The
Yeah,
watch
it's a
is
more
from
recent
like
picture.
30 years ago.
His
Yeah,
face isn't made of full of dots. Where's all the little
think
dots?
You know what this needs? This needs a Wikipedia entry for that watch in citations.
Wait,
so
is
we've
he-
got
is he
early
still
life and
alive?
career. Is he still alive?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Okay, good. So he
if
can be the
somebody would
official
like to-
ambassador of the Bongo Bang.
He can attend the launch event of the recreation piece.
That picture
Oh,
is
yeah, this
identical
is-
to one of those watch handovers. That could be the watch box
That
between
could
them.
be there. Yeah. Meeting Hillary Clinton. Yeah, there's a meeting of giants, whoever there was. Right, third from the left with other state leaders. If somebody would like to go into Wikipedia and put an official entry in, other matters.
I just really
and
want to go
reference
to
that
used watch stores in Africa right now. I don't know why. This just seems like a very good idea.
I think that's a road trip I'm up for.
That's
Where would you
yeah.
start? Marrakesh.
I don't know. We'd just be like, do you have
Cairo.
watches with pictures of leaders on them? And that would be basically what we're looking for.
Okay, this sounds like a job for the chat for someone to go and find all. This is an article: watches with watches just like people's faces on them that they sold
that can
multiple
be the
political
next
leaders.
Matt Haranek book, A Man in His Watch, and it can just be all of these faces.
There we go, Matt. That's an idea for you.
A
We'll just
dictator
take
on the wrist.
a dictator on the wrist. Anyway, right, Richard Potato. Right, let's dictator. Right, let's talk some actual watches. I think we've gone on just about long enough on that, and we've still got this week's message from Chives to get through. But let's have a look at a watch. Oh, let's have a look at this. This is from dictators to. Or if I can find from dictators to nuns.
No.
Yeah, there we go. Ariel Adams, watch through the Nun Origin Anti-Shock Crew. What do you make of this?
Well, this is an interesting brand, Noon, because it's based in Bahrain, and Not a lot of watch brands are based out there, even though a lot of watches are from there. This brand sort of began as taking the shape of a Nautilus essentially, but making fun, inexpensive sport watches out of it, which has allowed them to sustain through a lot of models. And I think it's interesting that brands like this and others like D1 Milano and plenty of others that really began just kind of creating toy-like homages of popular ones, went a lot further. And Noon has done a lot of really weird stuff. So this one has sort of a new dial, kind of funky sounding name, Anti-Shot Crew. That's kind of weird. But again, I like a lot of what the brand does. This is not particularly expensive. It's genuinely fun to wear. It's, sporty. It comes with 2 straps. I like what these types of companies do because they're not taking themselves too seriously and they're doing a lot of design experimentation.
There are some brands that seem to manage to copy a famous design like the Nautilus, like this is done, and get away with it without everyone going, this is just terrible, how very dare they? And then other brands that try this and you go no, what are you doing? What are you up to? Why have none managed to get away with this? Is it just because it's $400? So
I don't think it's price point. It's that they're not trying to. Well, there's some of their models stick from an aesthetic perspective pretty closely to it, but they also make these wild things that Patek would never in a million years create. And so I think that's where they kind of get a little bit more leeway and cut a little bit more slack here compared to another brand that would ape this Nautilus inspired case shape. If you're making the cheap version of the Nautilus that just looks like the Nautilus, that's basically an homage, but never in a million years would Patek make a carbon fiber cased quartz weird sandwich dial looking thing, let alone at a few $100s. And I think that's why they're kind of given a pass in this instance, where we all know what it's a nod to, but at the same time, this is in no way the poor man's version of it. It's like the cartoon version of it. So it's like a totally different watch.
I want to say what Ripley said in a slightly different way. When you look at this, you don't confuse it for Patek Philippe. It's very clear that it's not. And even though there's a shared design element, you kind of forgive that because you recognize that design element is quickly becoming genericized. So I think that's really what it is. It's the idea that for the most part, when you look at these watches, you're not thinking they're trying to be Patek Philippe because that's not what they're trying to do.
David, thoughts on this?
Not much. I quite like the overall. I like that it's funky and it's cool looking. It's a powerful and relatively exciting design. So I quite like that from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean these kind of bright ones, that for $300 versus a moon swatch that's colourful. I mean, this Mai Tai one, I quite like this. I think there's some funky fun to be had.
Yeah, that's
what
cool.
your
That's
next watch is.
That's right.
Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. These are quite cool. I quite like these. Because I don't object to the Nautilus as a case shape. I actually find the Nautilus as a case shape worse on the actual Nautilus than I'm finding looking at this.
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1 replica, really.
No, it's actually slightly better, in my opinion. But there we go. Do you ever own one? Would you buy one? Is it a fun watch as a wee gift for someone? For example, me, would you buy?
You need a larger watch, sir.
Yeah,
they're not 46 millimeters.
No, that's true. That's really not worth it.
And they're not tractor resistant. Not yet.
Not tractor resistant. Right, David, you've had plenty of time to think of our references for next week. What are you picking?
I actually saw this suggestion on the chat that I really quite liked, which was watches for defunct European car brands. Yeah, because then we would have to look at defunct watch brands as well. So we have to pair.
Yes,
in my mind, like defunct watch brands with defunct car brands. So
okay,
that's cool.
So what are your choices of defunct car brands? Saab's a good one.
Good one, Borisik. Shout out to you in the chat. What's that?
Yeah, so Saab, any other suggestions? Are we going with the suggestions in the chat? NSU,
I think Jaguar at this point.
Jaguar, okay, Jaguar. Yeah, I'm up for that. So Saab, Jaguar, and TVR. Is TVR defunct?
Yeah, TVR is
I
kind
don't-
of bold and interesting and defunct officially now. Yes, I think so.
Any others? Any others that take your fancy? Defunct car brands.
Do you count the British brands that are not owned by the British? Like, are
Well,
they
none of them are owned by the British anymore, I don't think.
right?
They're
So
all-
is that alive or dead? You know, there's like a half a dozen of them.
Oldsmobile. There's Oldsmobile.
Well, that's not European.
Yeah, no, I was just Googling, the recently defunct car brands.
I mean,
Hummer,
you want to throw
apparently.
Oldsmobile's happy to be included in any list ever.
Yeah, we made it,
You want to
guys.
talk about Oldsmobile? Sure.
The internet
Okay.
remembers.
There we go. Saab, Jaguar, TVR, and a special mention for next week for Oldsmobile because I know nothing
Yeah.
about it.
By the way,
So there we go.
one of the cars my father owned was an Oldsmobile, and it was a bad old Oldsmobile sedan. So I fully understand this category here.
right.
Right, okay, so
Oldsmobile is
capable of
not a
choice in
winner,
this.
okay? And who wants to
Okay,
drive
okay.
a car that has old and mobile in it?
It is a strange thing. Triumph and Spiker being suggested in the chat as well.
Oh,
I think there's,
Spiker died too? Wah, wah.
any number of chat. Well,
Was
next
that
week
Dutch?
you can all bring along your in the chat your watch brands to go with your defunct car brands.
But you have to
Okay.
marry a dead brand with a dead brand.
Yes, you got to find a dead watch brand to go with a suitably dead car brand.
Except
Now, Ariel-
Jaguar can be almost dead. It just needs to have got egg on its face recently.
I mean, we'll just combine it with Bremont. They've already worked together.
This is for next week.
Same.
Let's.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Right, Ariel, David, you were in Glasshoot recently. This is the Glasshoot original 70s X chronograph Panda dial watch. Is this something
Yeah.
you saw over there? Is this a new release?
Yeah,
We
and
did.
it's also apparently 39% more. No, sorry, 10% more money. 15%. I'm losing it. 15%, right?
Is that what the right-hand dial is that just goes up depending on what the tariff is? A tariff selector?
So this is sold exclusively in North America. I don't know why. It's a lovely watch. The 10 on there is for the 10th anniversary of the 70s chronograph. So they're celebrating themselves with a black and white dial. It's cool looking. I think this watch has aged very, very well. It was very weird when it came out. I think David remembers when it came out. It was like, everyone's like, with all the appeal of an old TV set. But I think that as square or more angular watches have been more popularized, this sort of rounded square is really, really nice. It's darn comfortable. There's no
It is.
edges. There's no edges that you sort of run your fingers along that scrape. And it comes on a bracelet and a strap. The movement is extremely robust. It does a lot. It's got full 12 hours with a big date and a power reserve, and it's a flyback, and it's an automatic, and it's got just a lot of good, it's just a good, robust mechanism. So it's not that much more expensive today than I think when it originally came out. It's about $17,000 or $18,000. I think it was $12,000 or $13,000 when it first came out. David, maybe you remember.
Yeah, thereabouts. Maybe even less.
I think that this is a strong choice. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, there isn't a lot in this category. I used to have certain types of Jaeger-LeCoultres and watches like that in this category, this price point. I don't know what else is competing with this. Most of the stuff seems to be a lot more expensive that has this sort of level of movement.
Yeah,
It is a
that's very true.
surprisingly comfortable form of watch, the Glasshoot 78s. They're amazingly comfortable. You look at them and you think, this is a huge watch, but actually they wear incredibly well.
Yeah, it's like a 40 millimeter square. It's not that big.
Yeah. $17,900 for a chronograph. It's square, big date. Where's the value in that?
Well, I think it has to go back to, this is a bespoke mechanism. Glasshoot Original has so many in-house made calibers, and they do a lot of their own machining and tool making. So there's just so many original parts in there. So it's really engineered for them. It's not like a group movement. It's just, there's a huge amount of passion just in the movement and its operation. So if you're like if you're like into engines, right, and you're into car movements, car engines, watch movements, this is something that you'll appreciate on that level. It just works very well. It's for example, there's a lot of emphasis on making sure that on the big date, the discs are in the exact same plane. And it's very, very hard to do that, to make sure that they're exactly in the same plane, but they're still touching each other. The emphasis on creating that smaller hour counter so you can have more of a compact, bi-compact style dial. Just a lot of intention, went into this. It's not for everyone, but again, it ages well over time. And in terms of unique chronographs like this, I think it's a funner chronograph to play with. You look at, I don't know. I mean, let's look next door. An Along and Zona chronograph is going to be far more expensive than this. A Vacheron chronograph is going to be more expensive than this. I don't even think Omega, maybe an Omega one will be cheaper than this. But again, Omega's positioned a little bit lower and is going to have more of an industrial end to it. I don't know. An IW's... Go ahead.
This is a shockingly high number of bespoke and hand finished and beautifully decorated parts in it. So that's what makes it special, is that this is among the cheapest, relatively speaking, watches that you can get, where a lot of work goes into the production by hand with through craftspeople, with the mirror polishing, with the anglage, with the beveling, with this and that, with the heat boot screws. So it's just a bunch of components thrown in there that they take a huge amount of time and effort to produce in their own way, which makes it much more bespoke than because I think generally people look at these watches and think that they are all made the same, which, well, a lot of the times they are very universal in the way that they just throw in machine made parts and then they give it a pretty shape and then they call it a different watch and maybe try and price it 50% over the competition. Whereas here, there's a huge amount of added value that is unique to not unique, but very, very special, even at this relatively higher price point. So that's very, very unique or very special.
Play, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's not cheap, but there's a lot that it does that isn't the same, like 7750 dressed up, or a bespoke movement that is basically doing the same thing as like a 7750 base. As Ariel mentioned, the double date, having the little hour counter up there, the power reserve indicator. It's a different watch aside from its aesthetics. You're getting some other features. So there, as David mentioned, it's not like this is the same thing that you could get from this brand cheaper. There's a lot of unique things about it, things it does differently. And so if you like this vibe that it's putting out, the value proposition is there, because this isn't just the dressed up version of a watch that's made by another brand with a slightly different appearance. So, I've always kind of liked the look of these. They're comfortable, but it's a very nice watch in person, and it's a bit more of an informed choice. To circle back to our conversation at the beginning, this isn't necessarily the watch someone buys because Instagram told them it was hot, or because it's going to impress the average person who's just familiar with the brand's name. This is a more informed choice that someone buys because they like it, and in order to like it, you have to like the aesthetics, but you also probably have an appreciation for what goes into it from a mechanical perspective too.
Yeah, it's to impress yourself, not others. That's the difference.
What watch do you and David that impresses you the most? You think nobody else appreciates this, but I appreciate this.
This is, I think, a prime example, or just about anything from this brand. But there's many others that are like that. Grand Seiko for a long time used to be like that. The Spring Drive was for a long, long time appreciated by just a very, very small group of people. So yeah, there's a long list.
Right. Well, while you get your Hitmas maybe lanyards, placards ready, we have more news from our man in the street, Chives, the watch butler. Dear sir, this is him writing to his employer. Dear sir, I hope this finds you well. Quick situation report is requested by text. Before I do, though, a troubling caller in white gloves from Dubai delivering a Daytona watch phone case at a retail price of $200,000. I don't know if you've seen this. We'll try and find this, but this is somebody selling Daytonas pre-built into watch phone cases called Caviar or something. Anyway, we'll try and find that. It was the work of a moment to Google the product, which looks like a whore's jewellery box, let out a snort of disgust and release the hounds if we don't feed them for a couple of days. And everyone keeps their windows rolled up on the drive. The bodies will soon disappear. A meeting with the Fred Savage this week concerning his timepiece grading service. Again, Fred Savage news this week on timepiece grading. I don't know if you've seen that. He's just like he is in television, tiny with a gigantic head, but wearing a Daytona, very commonplace. The service itself is not a serious proposition, according to Chives. 3 months have passed since Watches and Wonders. Your Platinum Zenith 135 has been delivered. Put it in the ready safe in the dressing room. Your Langer Perpetual 607 is now slated for delivery in 2030. Apparently, Langer are swamped with warranty work at the moment. Perhaps more excitedly, after the disappointment of not being allocated a quadruple complication from Patek, there's an allocation of a Patek 6159. I have taken the liberty of accepting the offer of the small price of purchasing a pair of solid gold cubitises. Don't worry, I've already consigned them to Chrono 31, your humble servant, Chives. And a quick PS, but I think it's Chives speaking to me. Panerai have released 2 new divers, one reassuringly expensive and something called Carbon Tech. They are, of course, ridiculous, and I would remind you of the terms of my employment. Any purchase of a Panerai with a bezel or a bracelet will result in my resignation. I think that's Chives threatening to leave his employment and threatening me. I don't employ him. Chives is his own man.
I've rated you.
Works for the man. Works for the man that he writes to.
It's okay that I'm confused,
What an impossible
right? That's okay.
fever dream of a report from the streets.
This whole thing is just such a word salad.
There you go. Chives might be joining us live in the chat next week.
Did you buy 2 gold cubitises? He's not.
I've not bought anything. This Cubitai. What is the plural of cubitises?
Wait a minute. How did he know I did a podcast with Fred Savage?
He didn't.
Or did Fred Savage do something else?
Fred Savage has done something else. Let's actually find these. So Fred Savage is now.
Because in the last week I did too. I was very
Fred Savage.
Have you recorded Fred Savage? It's like clapage Savage. He's launched a watch grading service.
Yeah, that's not new.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. Have you interviewed him about it, Ariel?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
All right, okay.
It's new. He's not admitting. It's not trying to say like, oh, it's super, big yet. He's doing it. It's literally him doing it. He lives in Ohio and goes to Stoll and is like, guys, let's do this.
Okay, well, there we go. Chives doesn't seem to appreciate it. Maybe it's just knocking in on his territory. He's the watch butler.
He's a bit oniony.
Yeah, he's the watch butler. He demands all this stuff himself.
Are butlers so curmudgeonly and you're part of the world? I thought butlers supposed to be optimistic and,
Only when you work for Rick, I think that's the messenger.
Yes, only curmudgeons are welcome. Right, let's play Hit Miss Maybe. First up, let's go to Bulgari or the Octo-Roma World Timer. Any experience with this watch, gentlemen?
The Roma, yes, not this exact version of it, but overall, yeah.
What do we think of the Roma versus the Octo Finissimo? I feel the Roma is often left out of the conversation, but it actually wears quite nicely.
Well, that's what it was designed to do. It was like, do you like the look of an Octo but don't feel as comfortable? When presented the Octo Roma. They haven't marketed that message very well because they have to disparage one of their popular products to do so. Yes. I get that.
We make this wonderful watch, but it's in fact impossible to wear for any period of time because it's jaggy. There's this one instead.
This is actually one of the most impressive case designs because, they had to maintain that look, but their designer, who we've had on the show before, really also needed to make it ergonomic. This is not the first iteration of it, but it's got this stealthy sort of all black look. And this is normally a 3-hand watch. This movement, I think that Bulgari, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't really have this in any other contemporary watch. So they were like, oh, we want a world time. Let's popularize the Roma. I just think it's difficult for people to wrap their minds around this. It's almost as though they've had to have a few octos and be like, oh, we want a different version of it. But this is really the type of watch that you want to put on. I like this watch because it reminds me of what I like best in Bulgari, which is practical watches that don't look like other watches. They have a cool, visually arresting design, but they're also highly pragmatic. That is not all Bulgari watches, but they can do that. They've done it a lot in the past. So I think the Octo Roma is definitely worth people's look, especially if they're concerned about the wearability of the other Octo watches.
Yeah, I do often, about world timers, wonder the locations they use in the world time, what it says about the brand and the wearer. I'm not sure how many of these are standard destinations to put on a watch. South Georgia, for example, is that normally a -1? Cabo Verde. Yeah,
it says Roma instead of Paris.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Yes, which is quite cool. St. Bart's. I think this is basically a sign of where Bulgari owners are stashing their money. Samoa and Anchorage. I don't even know where Nomu. How do you pronounce that? Next to Tokyo on the left-hand side at about between 9 and 10. Nomu? No, never heard of that. Between Sydney and Auckland.
Noumea. That's about caught, Rick.
Noumea. I mean, this is. I think
if you have a bad case of Noumea, then you have to.
You have to buy this watch. $10,000. That's a price. Well, what do we think? Is it a hit, a miss, or a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Hit, maybe, hit. No, David's swithering between a maybe and hit. David, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm rarely a fan of all black watches. Sometimes it's just off for me. But I put this watch on. I put a bunch of these different Romas on over the years, and they, whenever I put one of these on, I'm like, wow, this is just basically my perfect daily wearer watch. I would just wear the crap out of this. So it's super comfy. If you think that the 70s is comfy, this is even more comfy. It's one of the comfiest most comfortable luxury watches out there today, which is high praise, but it's true. So I quite like these, but these really come alive when you put them on. It makes a huge difference.
They're incredibly comfy. Ripley, you gave it a maybe, I think?
It's a maybe. I mean, more on the hit side than a maybe. Like David said, think it looks good. These are really comfortable. The Octo Finissimo just doesn't fit my smaller wrist, and I like the way it looks a lot, but if I had to choose a Bulgari, it'd probably be a Roma just because it wears better. And it's a little bit more versatile, too. It's not so committal to the ultra flat type of vibe. The only reason I'm giving it a maybe is I kind of wish they incorporated a date at some point somewhere covertly on this because it's a world timer. Those features kind of work together hand in hand. But again, I struggle to think of a place to put it that wouldn't ultimately detract from its design. So it's a hit mostly, but I do wish it had a date.
Is it the great unsaid thing that the Octo Finissimo is in fact a terrible watch?
No, because there are some
it's lovely to look at, wants to be framed and hung on a wall, but no one should try and wear one because they don't fit anybody.
No, they fit some people.
Think so.
They do fit some people. It's just a very specific wrist shape. If you've got like a large wrist with like a flat top surface, it fits great. It just kind of hugs it like a cuff and the sides drape over. But if your wrist is too small, it obviously doesn't work. And if it's too round, that large flat plane of the case back doesn't sit right on it. So it's a little bit fickle, but there are some people that love it and wear it and it fits them like a glove. So you just kind of have to have the right wrist for it. And unfortunately, I don't.
The Finissimo fits my wrist really well, but so does the Roma.
Ariel, just all watches fit him. Everything.
No.
Everything suits Ariel. Ariel, what did you think of this?
By the way, that statement reminds me of watches I refused to review because the bracelets pulled my hair so badly I couldn't, in good faith, recommend them to anyone.
Oh, so worst hair pulling watch. I mean,
there's so many.
Oh, what was the one I was trying on recently?
It's not been a Bulgari.
No, it's not a Bulgari. Was it a Tissot?
So others in the LVMH group? I'm not sure.
Okay, so this one you would give a hit to, though?
It's not the type of watch that I'd like think about at night, but like if you wore it, you just realize it makes a lot of sense. It's very versatile. The strap makes it sort of easy to wear a lot of things, very sporty. The world time is an interesting complication because it's like when you don't need it, it's just sort of out of the way, right? Like you can still easily just read the time.
Good point.
And the Bulgari hands and face, they're bold enough that you don't look at this and get that tiny hands effect when you look at the Patek Philippe. You know, like, oh, it's so cute and tiny. This one, it doesn't do that as much. And if you look at it, the designer, I'm guessing it's Fabrizio, he actually made the hands slightly longer than they should be proportionally. And they did that to sort of preserve an overall, a quality look. So I think there's a lot of little touches in here that I can appreciate. It's a lot more interesting than a standard 3-hand watch. And honestly, it is useful to sort of see the AM, PM or day night thing. So it's, again, I think it would sort of grow on you after you had it. You might not put a poster of it up on your wall, but I think it'd have a lot of staying power if I started wearing it.
Have you ever put a poster up on your wall of a watch?
I've thought about it. I have. I probably have.
Actually, having said that, I've got posters of watches up on my wall now. I think about it. Just they're very arty.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we've made those things. We obviously believe in that.
It's quite a common thing to put posters of watches up on your wall. Just thinking about it there.
I was like, why are you asking me this? They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Right, finally, this maybe hands-on Tag Heuer AquaRacer Professional 200 Solargraph watch with a new blue dial. Does this count as news that Tag Heuer have a Solargraph, but now with a new blue dial? Big fan of the Solargraph. Actually, a big fan of this AquaRacer. The titanium one is stunning. Never thought I would be a fan of AquaRacer because historically I just didn't like them, but they're growing on me significantly. Not sure they're growing on me to going to get rid of my Panerai extent just yet. But gents, what's your first impressions of this? Does blue dial warrant any sort of newsworthiness, really?
Do you think there should be a watch called the Aqua Leisure?
Stop pricing.
And what would it consist of? What would be its key selling point?
Just a lot slower. Whole lot slower.
The lazy river timer.
Like 1 hertz. You remember the Martin Braun and 1 hertz watch?
Yeah, there were a few, yeah.
Just make a water resistant version of that.
Just it ticks really slowly.
The opposite of a highly practical solar-powered quartz watch. Total opposite.
You fans of the Solargraph?
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. You get a little bit of luxury. Well, it is luxury price. So you have like, Tag Heuer, that's a fancy brand. But all the practicality of a beater watch. Lightweight, titanium, solar, easy to read. And I think we really like it when those sort of name luxury brands end up making things that are incredibly practical. Those end up selling pretty well. And I think that's the success. And similar, actually, this is even more successful, but similar to how the Breitling, Endurance Pro did well because it tried to be sort of a much more practical thing. This does that even better.
Would more of these be sold if it didn't say Tag Heuer on the dial?
Would more be sold?
Yeah.
Why would more be sold?
Where does Tag Heuer sit currently in people's thinking about whether it's a desirable brand? Is Formula One and all of that helping? Yeah, you think? The only thing that kind of puts me off is it says Tag Heuer. I don't know why. It might be a UK thing that Tag Heuer are probably the lowest grade luxury watch because they're everywhere. I don't know whether they're as generically sold everywhere in America, but most stores, even the low-range jewelry stores, a number of them will have Tag Heuer concessions of one.
I know what you need. You need the AquaRacer Pro, that one that's like much bigger. This is obviously too small and practical for you, Rick.
Yeah, that must be
you know that thing with a gaudy orange dial?
Yeah, I know exactly one.
Tag's the right grade of brand to have their name on a watch like this. At the end of the day, this, like Ariel said, that's a little bit of luxury, but this is not not like a high horology creation. This is a titanium watch, rather Spartan, sandblasted finishing, quartz Le Joux Perret movement, aka like a fancy Citizen Eco Drive. And so what this really is like a kind of luxury version of for the person who would otherwise just get like an Eco Drive diver or something, but want something a little bit nicer and a little bit higher end. You wouldn't want like Blancpain's name on the dial of this. At that point, you don't want a quartz watch from them at all. You want something that is definitely more luxury. So I think Tag's right about right here. You could do the Tags, the Tudors, the Breitlings, but once you start getting, I think, above Rolex, people are going to become a little bit more price sensitive. And the whole point of this watch is to kind of have that practical, rugged thing that you don't need to be precious about. And that just doesn't work if it's $10,000 or more.
What is Tag's marketing situation in the likes of Hungary or the States? As it's just, it's a very generic, everywhere luxury Swiss brand in the UK. Does it have that kind of positioning in the US?
You probably see more advertising. I mean, they are an aBlogtoWatch client, and so they work with us. I wouldn't say that we see as much in-person advertising, but I don't think it's as it doesn't have the same reputation in the United States as it does in the UK. Because I know what you're saying, but it's quite different here.
Right. Okay. What about Hungary, David? Is it everywhere? I mean, it's not everywhere here in terms of advertising. It's just in every shop. What feels like it's in every shop window. As does Breitling historically. There was always lots of Breitling sellers in the UK.
It's on a lot of people's wrists. It's very popular in terms of value proposition. People, are attracted to it when they enter the world of luxury watches. So it's extremely popular. I can go out for a dinner with with 10 people, and sometimes six of them have a higher O2 or O1 or whatever it is, or something from type. It's even more common now than Omega. Omega used to be hugely popular here, but now it's more Tag Heuer for some reason. Omega probably priced itself out.
Yeah, far and away of any, if I think of a group of people I would come across who aren't into watches but own a watch, either they got it for a birthday present or a graduation or something, vast majority of them are Tag Heuers. It's just the brand.
I love how
over here.
If a brand is too popular, it's bad for you, and if it's not popular enough, it's bad for you.
It's got to be the Goldilocks. It's got to be right. It's just got to be.
What's the right amount of in your face for Tag Heuer, huh?
Panerai. Panerai is the right amount of in your face that Tag Heuer need to. It just needs to be clasp on the side. It's sorted.
So they just need to triple their prices, and you're happy.
Triple the size. Triple the size is what they need.
Triple the size, half the water resistance.
Triple the orange.
Right.
4 times the service intervals.
It's a hit from me. Was it from you guys? Maybe from Ripley. Hit from Ariel, and David is swithering again. David, why are you swithering?
It's quite expensive for what it is, and it's a sourced movement. And I know it works well and all the rest of it, but it's I'm on the fence about it. I like the design. I know that the functionality is there, and I know that people freaking love these things. So yeah, it's very popular already, but it's quite pricey for over 3K.
Okay. I mean, used market, these are an absolute steal. Ripley.
I said it's a maybe. There's nothing. The watch itself is a hit. Why it's a maybe is just the choice in dial color. The first one that was like gray with the ice blue was just too reminiscent of the Yachtmaster. Creating a blue dial version isn't necessarily the color palette inspiration that is going to make it feel more original. It's not a bad looking watch by any respect. I think it's a pretty good looking blue dial, but this is such a kind of blank template that you could go in a billion different directions. And I wish that either they made more of them so this could exist among some more daring options, or that they had just gone a little bit of a different direction so it just felt a little bit more unique.
And finally, Ariel.
I mean, $3,000 is not as expensive these days as it may have felt several years ago. And I agree with David that, given historically what you got for $3,000, this seems like it should have been charged less. But again, the prices are changing these days. And I think that we need to sort of adjust our expectations accordingly. I always have a soft spot for watches like this because, again, they're tool watches at the end of the day. And it could say Tag Heuer, it could be luxury, not luxury. This is a tool watch, and I love tool watches. I think Solar is finally about to have its moment. This is not just them taking a Citizen Eco Drive and putting it in here. It's a fundamentally different system, even though it is engineered by Citizen through their company Le Juperet in Switzerland. It's a more robust system. It's got more battery life. It'll charge faster. So it's not really accurate to claim that it's just an expensive Eco Drive. And if it was, that's fine. Eco Drive is great. And I think it's a lot more, European design would make solar power watches look even nicer. So I think that we all like the practicality and we should support this segment. I think that it's not a very competitive space. There's not a lot of luxury solar powered watches right now. So Tag Heuer didn't really know what to charge. I think if there's more stuff like this, prices will actually naturally stabilize down a little bit more. And I think that that's what we should all be looking forward to.
Now, we haven't had that sound effect from David for quite a while. There was a period of time in recording about 100 episodes ago where we had permanent police sirens in the background. I'm harkening back to the olden days when you lived in... whether it was Diplomat Row. There we go. Grand. Well, thank you for that. I am curious, I have one question left just for you, David. David, have you been at concert or something? I know you've not got anything on the wrist, but you appear to have tags on the other wrist. Have you been partying somewhere in a nightclub? Or
no, not at all. I was at a car event, so that's what those are from. Not at a concert. Okay.
Favorite car you saw at your car event? Was it old cars, new cars?
New cars. I like all kinds of cars as long as they're fast and loud. So I'm very easy to please that way.
Excellent. And what is on the desk today, watch-wise? Because we haven't done that.
Actually, nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know.
There's nothing in the room. The room is bare.
It's a watch-free room. As you can see, I'm renovating a little bit, so it's actually the whole room is quite empty. So I have a good excuse.
That's okay. I have enough watches for me and David both. Got a G-Shock on my desk, and I'm wearing the new Certina DSX GMT.
Very nice. And the hattage?
Hattage is from Veyer, and the shirt is the Genta bezel, the printed version in kind of a gray or brown taupe on black.
Taupe. Cool. Ariel, what's on the wrist?
I'm actually wearing two solar-powered watches, ironically.
Oh, very good.
So I've got the re-release or the new Cassiotron, and then this is the Nepro Solar. So it's like an LED. Oh gosh. So this is the solar panel LED here, and the other's LED. So,
cool.
You're soaking up all the sun from us.
In here.
Yeah. I mean, so when you said that you thought that solar watches will have their day, in Scotland it literally is that they will have a day once a year where they work a day. It will be probably the 17th of April, and then that will be it. You'll have to wind them up or put them under a
for the mist-powered watches.
And then that might be a reason to get the tag. If I'm not mistaken, as Ariel mentioned, the LJP version of the solar movement has a longer power reserve. If I'm not mistaken, this goes over a year. So if you only get a day,
once a year,
as long as
you can charge it on your vacation.
Yeah. When it comes to America, it's a lot for all the watch prices.
Just go on your annual vacation and you charge your freaking watches to sunlight. That's funny.
Why have you come to Hawaii this year, Mr. Atkins? Well, it's because I need to charge my watch. Right, okay. On that note, thank you, gents, for joining in. Thank you, everyone, for the chat, for joining in. You can check out the show on YouTube and watch it being recorded live. Oh, Ariel's also seems to be wearing a nice Ulysses Nardin t-shirt, is he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. All the brands. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
All the brands.
So you can tune into the show live recording on Tuesday morning around about 7:30 on aBlogtoWatch Weekly Live. You can get the edited show on all your podcasters of choice or on the main aBlogtoWatch YouTube channel, normally a Thursday or a Friday. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen, all in the chat, and we will see you again in a week or so's time. If you go to the aBlogtoWatch Weekly Live channel, there's just a little bit extra and a little bit early on as well, so you get a bit more show for your money. No, you don't pay us anything, but anyway, you get a bit more show.
You're getting paid for this?
Yes, is anybody getting paid for this? Right. See you all later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.